Hi, folks. Welcome to another edition of the Journey to Freedom podcast. I wanted to take today to come on a topic that's been weighing heavy on, well, let's be honest, it's been a challenge for me over the past 43 years, and I'm seeing it an awful lot in the coaching work and consulting work that I do now. So I wanted to kind of take a minute or take an episode to talk about what does it mean to have an overachieving or an overdoing mindset, right? And what are the what are the outcomes of that from happening? So it's obviously not a secret that I spent the last 20 years in a career that gave me an awful lot of financial success and financial wealth. But there's an awful lot of that now after 4 or 5 years of doing my own healing work. You know, there was a piece of me that always seemed to not just have to do the task, but have to completely do the task, take ownership and responsibility, and then take full control of that task and everything else around it, right? So like, what was that for? Like, why do we do that? And I myself had a history of that, because I mean, a lot of people here who listen, a lot of us had to kind of become an adult a little too fast, right? Like maybe a lot of us had to leave home early for a certain reason, or had to take responsibility and control in a household where, the parents were not emotionally or capable of providing that safety and security for the household, for the siblings, or for whatever it might be. And there's a lot of us out there. You are not the only one. So that's kind of been coming up, right? So what does it mean to have to overdo? Well, let's first talk about why. Like, what's the problem with overdoing or overachieving? In my world and in my work now, most of the people that I work with have built an image around being super productive, achieving, getting things done. And they actually put an entire mantra around, right? Like, grinding and hustling and doing the work. There's so many Instagram reels and YouTube and TikToks out there all about just put your nose to the grindstone, get it done, hustle and grind. And it celebrates that lifestyle, being able to work on yourself or work on your business from 6 a.m. or if you get up at 3 or 4 a.m. to do all the morning routines that you do to help keep your mind right, and then you can just push yourself through the day, the whole day. And some people don't even get back home or go to bed until 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night because they're hustling, grinding, focusing on achieving in their to-do items. So why do I bring all that up? Well, now in my mid-40s, and in the work I do now with the hundreds of clients that I have worked with, there's a common theme where if you do that for so long, a lot of us since maybe we were teenagers, that there's willpower is finite. There's an energy inside of you that is finite, and willpower being one of them, discipline being one of them. We can train our minds, and we can do that. We still do that every day. We embrace discomfort and become free, right? We seek towards that discomfort, which is beautiful and wonderful. But there comes a certain part of our brains when we're just constantly having to overcome, take the discomfort, take the grind, like just keep doing the things that we don't like to do to have the things that other people don't have yet. Like that was the mantra that I followed for so many years, right? The Shut Up and Do It podcast is what this was called before Journey to Freedom. And all that to say, that takes a toll. It takes an energetic toll. Then it starts to take a physical and emotional toll. You'll start to see it where you're starting to not wanting to get up in the morning. You're starting to have to rest a lot more. You can't recover as fast. If you're wearing one of those whip straps, so those overachievers love to track our fitness and progress, you start to see your recovery start to go down and down and down. And what it is your body, even if your mind is strong and your mind can overcome and your mind can do anything, your body is starting to show the signs of fatigue. It's starting to show an energetic leak. And what does it mean? What does it mean? How do we stop the cycle of having to do more, achieve more, target more? Especially in this civilization which just prides itself on success being equal to what money in our bank account, or number of clients, or number of deals, or whatever it is. So how do we recognize this pattern of overdoing, or this pattern of even doing for the sake of doing and achieving? Like, what's the point? Something that was very uncomfortable for me to have to realize and learn and feel into is when I started my own work and I had a couple coaches try to tell me what just being overdoing mean. And this is probably the most uncomfortable thing, right? What if the only work there is for us to do? What if all the grinding and the hustling and all this for career or for self-employed or for our own business and what if all that is just the mirror to really feel into who it is that we are? So overdoing, overachieving, perfectionism, all of this is an emotional safety mechanism that our brain has put into our bodies, that we have accepted as computer program, right? For us to keep us safe. That's all the brain ever does anyway. So we found at one point as a child or teenager or whenever that to be accepted, to be liked, to be loved, and then we were even celebrated, right? With good grades, with a better school, with good career, and with money in the bank. All of these were celebratory if we stuck our nose down and grinded and hustled. But what if even that's a story? One of the stories that came up just last night in one of our sessions, if it's easy, is it even worth it? Like, it has to be hard in order for things to be worthwhile. I'd challenge you to say, is that even true? Is that a story you've been following in your life like I have been? Only chasing and doing the hard things, or making things harder than they actually are, right? Making things super difficult, right? Can it be as simple as we can attract, right, the money that we want? We can attract the clients and deals and units that we want. We can do all that with just alignment stuff instead of forcing ourselves day after day after day after day to get bigger, set higher goals, overachieve. Once we even reach the target initially that we had set for ourselves, what do we do here as entrepreneurs, right? We set the next target. Some of us can't even enjoy hitting that first target, right? We hit the first target. What does this even mean? This literally just happened yesterday, which is why it's fresh in my memory. I reached this target. Well, I reached this target not because of how hard I worked. It must be because some luck came in, or someone else gave me a gift, or someone else, my competitor didn't work as hard, so I didn't really meet this goal. And if I didn't really meet this goal, I guess I have to now achieve something higher. What if all the times we're setting these targets for ourselves and these goals and ambitions, we're chasing something? And I'd encourage you to kind of feel into, what is it that we're chasing? What is the feeling that you're chasing by setting higher goals, setting higher targets, setting the bar higher and higher and higher and higher? And I know this is an unpopular opinion because most people are attracted to the podcasts that just say, just go, fuck it, just go, right? And all of that grind culture that comes in. But what if it wasn't that way? What if you accepted the belief that to not just make a good living, but to live a fulfilled existence? What if it starts internally? What if it starts by seeking out why it is we have to achieve and hustle and grind at all? What if we start to heal those pieces of us that had that need to do that in order to be accepted, or to have value, or to be seen and heard finally. You know, if any of these resonate with you, this is a call to go within and really feel into what it is in your world that pushes you, that gives you that drive. Knowing that the drive itself isn't a bad thing, but it's the why and the attachment to the outcome of that drive. What if we're chasing all this wealth, success, and deals, right? Or clients and careers and whatever it is, because we just want to feel that feeling of being heard, of being recognized, or we want to feel the freedom of having that money in the bank, which is what most people go into real estate for, right? Financial freedom. And then a lot of them get caught up, as I did, in becoming the biggest team with the biggest amount of leads, biggest amount of deals, biggest amount of better profit margins 5, 6, 7 states later. So I appreciate it. I share my story only because obviously I connect most with my story, and I use that as a way to maybe reflect for you in your business, in your career, in your entrepreneur journey. What here resonates with you? You know, do you really feel heard, understood, or acknowledged? Is that where this might come from? The overdoing, overachieving? Are you chasing the feeling of safety and freedom, making sure you have X amount of dollars stashed away for you and your family? Because maybe you grew up in a household that didn't, or you had it ingrained in you that's the only way to have a family and have that safety, or you were ingrained that that's the manly thing to do if you're a man, right? Producing for the family. Like all of these that I'm bringing up now, they're deep beliefs, but they're just beliefs. They're just stories. And by shifting yourself into living an unlimited life, it's just a choice. You get to first identify and be aware of why we do what we do, to then start asking questions. Does my life have to be this way? Why do I keep banging my head against a wall and seemingly hustling, grinding, and efforting to get this one outcome? Is there an easier way? Is there a fun way? How else can I be living my life with more flow, ease, and less grind, less hustle, less tracking my every single goal and target and feeling negative and bad? It's the negative self-talk with myself if I don't hit that target. If you resonate with any of these topics or ideas, this is exactly what we go through in our Manifest Monday Mindset Magic calls. And a lot of us are recovering type A, achieving entrepreneurs. So would love you to join us. It's always a free call every Monday night at 9:30. Aside from that, take that deep breath today. And act out of alignment. How can you love yourself more today? Who else do you choose to show up for in a meaningful way? And what's one step, just one, you can take today to move towards that which brings you the most excitement or passion in your life? If you ask those questions every 3 days, every day, that's moving into alignment to attract everything you could possibly imagine in your life. You don't have to hustle and grind. You don't have to effort and achieve and spend all your energy over the next 10 years trying to reach that impossible goal that you're just going to set the next target and next bar with. Breathe and just be. That's all there is.